All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you could join me here tonight, live on Coach Eli 2 Authentic Live Streams. I hope you're all having a great day. If you're here live, it is Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022. If you're here watching the replay, regardless of when that may be, this is going to be complete evergreen content that will make sense years and years down the road. So please check this out, even if you're here on the replay. But before we get to tonight's show, let me first of all make sure that the notification has gone out. Give me a second. Need to clear my throat, those allergies. Wow. Wow. I've talked enough about allergies this year. It's like the worst allergy season in history. But the YouTube notification has gone out, and let me check out the back end of YouTube and make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. And it absolutely is. Well, let's get right to it because this is going to take a little while to go through, and I'm going to try to do this show in an hour and a half to 2 hours. My lady is out playing darts tonight. And that's what she does on Tuesday nights. So, I want to be done before she gets home in a few hours and end the night with a great conversation with her. Anyway, tonight's topic is key differences between men and women, plus we only get what we give. One more time, key differences between men and women, plus we only get what we give. Here's how tonight's show is going to go. During the first half, I'm going to be going over a blog titled Key Differences Between Male and Female from the focusonthefamily.com website. And then after the break, I'm going to come back and discuss a blog titled Young Men and Society. We will only get out what we put in. One more time, young men and society. We will only get out what we put in. That's from the ifstudies.org website or blog site. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and switch on over to the browser screen. And let's get to the first section or segment. All right. Again, this is from the focusonthefamily.com website, and it's titled Key Differences Between Male and Female. Give me a second, folks. These allergies are really kicking in tonight. All right. That should do it. That should do it. Okay. Let me also make sure the audio is working smoothly because I'm here by myself tonight. What we put in. All right, we're good. All right, so aside from the obvious physical distinctions, what are the essential differences between male and female? I'm disturbed by all of the gender bending and blending that's been promoted in society over the past few decades. I completely agree with you. I've had enough of it myself, but that's why I do what I do, to help people better understand it and work through it and move past it and live a happy and healthy life. I believe there are unique differences between the sexes that should be affirmed and celebrated. At the same time, I don't know exactly how to respond when friends on the other side of this issue challenge me to identify and describe them. Can you help me? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. These people just don't want to hear the truth, whether they're a man or a woman. A lot of times when you discuss this with women, they think you're anti-feminism or you're anti-equal rights, and that's not the truth. And, when you try to discuss this with men, they just don't want to hear it because, men just feel like, okay, we should be accepted for who we are, and we don't want to deal with this emotional crap, yada, yada, yada. But the truth of the matter is both sides need to learn to better understand this. So anyway, let's continue here. The distinction between male and female is very real and very deeply rooted in human nature and human psychology. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger here. I think that's a little bit better. Now people can see it. What's more, research indicates that it is universal from culture to culture and that it finds expression in almost every area of life. That's true. So far, I have nothing to respond to. I agree. This idea is, of course, fundamental to the biblical view of mankind. In the very first chapter of Genesis, we are told that God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them, Genesis 1:27, emphasis added. The implication is clear. The distinction between the sexes is not only basic to human nature, it is also uniquely reflective of the divine. In some way we cannot fully grasp, it presents us with a visible image or picture of the unseen triune creator. Okay, so far I have nothing to add to it. Okay, this is just how, men and women were made to be biologically different by a higher power I believe to be God. And most people believe in God. And if you don't, I still love you. But most people believe in God. And this is the way God made things and meant for things to be. To this last thought, we should add that while the Bible does underscore the importance of the male-female dichotomy, and while it does represent this dichotomy as being fundamental to human nature and offers us some basic principles, it does not give us an itemized description of maleness and femaleness. Nor does it tell us exactly how this distinction is supposed to be played out in many of the details of everyday life. Well, I don't think God ever thought that, women would be liberated in the way they are today. God made woman to be a certain way, and God made man to be a certain way. And I'm not against women having equal rights and working in the actual workforce, but God made women to be homemakers, take care of the family, the kids, keep the house clean, yada, yada, yada. And God made the man to go out and basically bring home the bacon. So that's that's the difference in this modern world compared to how God initially meant for things and made for things to be. For that, we have to look to God's design and creation and try to draw some conclusions on the basis of our observations there. In the course of this investigation, we must make sure that the differences we posit are genuinely creation-based and not merely culturally determined. Listen to that again. In the course of this investigation, we must make sure that the differences we posit are genuinely creation-based and not merely culturally determined, such as women being liberated, the modern world, the way things are, progression, etc. We're talking about how God biologically meant and made for things to be. Nothing wrong with the way things are today, but they're different than the way God meant for them to be and made them to be. They must be humanly universal, internationally, interculturally, and historically consistent and valid. Every so often, I will be checking out the chat. So far, we have no chatters. Okay, no worries. Let's continue. What then are some of the key differences between males and females? In his book, Secure Daughters, Confident Sons, Chapter 1, What Makes a Good Man? And Chapter 2, What Makes a Good Woman? Author Glenn Stanton lists a number of distinctive traits that he believes to be characteristics of men and women, respectively. These lists are not intended to be exhaustive. Obviously, each individual is unique. That's true. Each man is unique and each woman is unique. But at a natural biological level, men and women are meant to be a certain way, and men and women are biologically different. Been saying that for a while. I'll keep saying it until my time comes. As Stanton is careful to point out, there are many different styles of masculinity and femininity. Well, there are men that act like women. There are women that act like men. That's how it's happening in the modern world. And then there are men that actually behave like real men. And then there are women that behave like actual women. But the modern day workforce and, women, working career, management type of jobs nowadays, it's forcing women to work jobs out of their natural biological essence because it requires them to exude more masculine energy than feminine energy. Nothing wrong with that as long as a woman knows how to turn that masculine energy off when she gets off of work and comes home to her husband or her boyfriend. But a lot of women can't do it, and that's the problem, and that affects relationships. So, let's see. Keeping these qualifiers in mind, we would suggest that the qualities he enumerates, which we've summarized below, represent a good starting point from which to begin building a basic understanding of essential maleness and femaleness. Men are men and women are women. The bottom line, a man's natural essence is to be more masculine and dominant, and a woman's natural feminine or female essence is to be more feminine and submissive in nature. Doesn't mean she has to be 100% submissive all the time, but the majority of the time, a woman's natural biological essence is being feminine and submissive, and a man's is masculine and dominant. Doesn't mean he has to be a jerk or a, let's just say jerk. I was going to say something else, but I'm monetized here now, so I'm trying to keep it a little more clean. Doesn't mean he has to be an arrogant, pompous ass, but also don't be a big freaking sissy. Be a well-balanced, good man, good dude, where a woman respects you and feels your masculine strength, but also doesn't sense you to be an arrogant, pompous ass. A male's orientation towards life tends to be outward, explorative. Every boy and every man is on a quest. He discovers his identity out there in the world where he senses his larger purpose and destiny lie. A man's purpose is everything. I could not have said it any better myself. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, I'm here. Hey, babe, how you doing? Are you at darts? Thank you so much for being here, babe. Great to see you here. Tam, Ms. T, hey, Eli, and respectfully, maturely. Hey, Tam, welcome to the show. Great to see you here. Determined to deliver the goods. A man places great stock in knowing that he has what it takes to complete the quest and accomplish the task at hand. That is masculine energy. Men are purpose-driven. Men were made to fix things. When, a woman comes to their man and says, babe, this is broken, can you fix it for me? And we're able to fix it. That's what makes us feel like a man. And I'm not saying that women shouldn't have the right to fix things or shouldn't learn how to fix things. It's just more of a masculine thing that makes men feel like a man. Nowadays, women want to fix everything themselves. Like, I love you, baby, you're out there, but you like to fix most of the things yourself. Now, there are some things like the tech stuff. When it comes to tech, my lady comes to me for everything. Everything else, she tries to fix on her own, right? But when it comes to tech, because I'm not saying that women aren't good at tech, some are, but most are not into tech like men are. When it comes to tech, she's like, babe, my phone's not working, or, this is not working, the TV's not working. You need to restart it, baby, Can you do it for me? Sure, no problem. That's what makes men feel like men. We're determined to deliver the goods. Needs to know what's next. Unlike a woman, he isn't inclined to cuddle, to savor meaningful experiences, or to linger in the moment. Generally speaking, he's anxious to move on to the next thing. Well, I love the cuddle. And I know the word had a different meaning here, but I don't have a problem, cuddling with my lady and spending time, with my lady and helping her with things, even if it takes a little bit longer than normal. But by a certain point, I'm definitely going to want to move on to the next thing, because men like to fix things as quickly as possible and move on to fixing the next thing. Ladies, that's how we are. And when you hold us back, working on one thing, and even if we fixed it, now you want us to cuddle and savor that moment. Once we're done fixing that one thing, we are ready to move forward to fix the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. That's how we are biologically hardwired as men. Opportunistic. To put it another way, the male is a doer. I couldn't have said it better myself. We've been talking about that so far in that way. And in the final analysis, his feelings about what he's doing or his reasons for doing it are less important to him than the urge and the opportunity to get it done. We are purpose-driven. We are opportunistic. We look for good opportunities, we seize them, and we do whatever we can to make those opportunities successful. That's what makes us feel like men. So far, so good. Check out the chat here real quick. I don't know why Nightbot timed you out. My lady respectfully, maturely, and professionally says, not yet. Okay, she's not at darts yet. Tam says, I'll read your message, even though Nightbot timed you out. Maybe it was the emojis, not quite sure. Oh my, I'm very much like your lady, Eli. I am exactly the same. I don't do tech, LOL. Well, do you have a man that is tech savvy, and do you go to your guy when you have like tech issues? Because that's what makes us feel like men. Like men, we like to solve problems. We like to fix things, right? And women, will always say, babe, I'm not looking for you to fix me. I'm not looking for you to fix me. No, babe, we're not trying to fix you. We're just trying to make your life as easy as possible. And that's why you're with us, right? I mean, if we weren't able to make your lives easier or as easy as possible, then why would you be with us? But then women, because they're emotional, will say, I don't need you to try to fix me. I don't need you to try to fix me. Just listen to me. Just listen to me. Just listen to me. Yeah, we listen. We listen, but we just want to, I guess you're right. I guess, we just want to solve the issue and move on to the next thing and live in peace and harmony, baby. Bubbly, bubbly. Thank you for the opportunity to be in your chat. Okay. Are you trolling, bubbly, bubbly? I'll check out your account right now. Let's see when your account was created. We'll do this quick. Joined February 11th, 2021. How'd you find that about the show? Tam, Ms. T says, yes, I do, and he does all the tech stuff for me. LOL. I'm going to give your man a big round of applause. That's the way it should be. And then he fixes it, and then you're like, oh, thank you, baby. I love you so much. Thank you, baby. And us guys are like, no problem, babe. It's no big deal to us. It's no sweat off our back. That's what makes us feel like men. That's what defines us as men. That's it. Well said, well done. Take chances. The opposite of women. Women don't like to take as many risks as men. Now, nowadays, women being liberated, they take more risks, but it's still out of their natural biological essence. Take chances. To seize and make the most of his opportunities, a boy or a man must be willing to take chances. Of course, no chance, no gain, no pain, no gain. You got to take chances. And every time you take a chance, you might fail. But if you don't take a chance, you fail automatically. If you take a chance, you might actually win sometimes. It only takes winning one time to get ahead. Accordingly, a propensity to run a certain degree of risk is fundamental to the male character. Let me read that one more time. This defines a man perfectly. Accordingly, a propensity to run a certain degree of risk is fundamental to the male character. No risk, no reward. Men understand that. In order for us to be successful, we've got to take chances. Complete masculine energy, not feminine energy. Masculine energy. Not saying ladies don't take chances. They do because they're kind of forced to nowadays based on being liberated and working in the workforce. But it's really out of their natural biological essence. Initiator. All of this presumes a certain willingness and ability to take the bull by the horns. Take the bull by the horns. I live by that. Big round of applause for that phrase. Take the bull. Grab the bull by the horns. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And make things happen. Men make shit happen. It also suggests that leadership, while not necessarily an exclusive male prerogative, is nevertheless more deeply rooted in the nature of men and boys. This is masculine energy. Enough said. Let's move forward. I like this. I like the way this was written. I'm very much in alignment with this blog so far. Active and aggressive. That's masculine energy right there within itself. Active and aggressive. RJ told me about you. How's RJ doing? Thank you, Bubbly Bubbly. I miss RJ. And, you know, I've been friends with RJ Sandiford, the blind YouTuber with Asperger's, a form of autism. I love RJ, but he keeps getting involved with drama people, and I can't have drama here, bubbly. RJ is welcome to come back anytime as long as he gets rid of the drama, but he keeps going back and forth. But thank you for being here, bubbly, and thank you for letting me know. My apologies for thinking you were trolling. I've been trolled a lot, and I'm really, doing away with that. Active and aggressive. There's an obvious connection between initiation and active aggression. In light of this, it is interesting to note that the male brain is 2.5 times larger and more vital in the center devoted to aggression and action than the female brain. Well, that would make sense because men have always been the leaders. Now, we're not saying that women aren't capable of being leaders in the modern world. Women are just as capable of doing pretty much anything and everything a man can do. The bottom line is many of the things that, are required in the workforce nowadays require masculine energy. That means a woman has to step out of her natural feminine biological essence and behave more masculine to be able to do that particular type of job. Competitive and dominant. Men want the best and will expend incredible energy towards getting it. That's why I keep doing what I do out here on YouTube. I've been doing this for well over 5, almost 6 years as a coach. I keep pushing forward because I love what I do. I'm competitive. I'm dominant. I mean, I don't really like to compete, but yes, you have to have some kind of a competitive nature, right? But I am dominant and I do want the best and I will expend incredible energy toward getting it. I have expended the majority of my energy over the last 5 to 6 years on my YouTube channels and running my coaching business because I truly love it. It's my purpose and it defines me and makes me feel good. There you go. Nothing more to say. Before we get to the woman's perspective, let me check out the chat here real quick. Give me a second here, folks. A woman's perspective tends to be more inwardly directed. So it's kind of like more like introverted versus extroverted. Women tend to naturally be a little more introverted and men tend to be a little more naturally extroverted. I'm saying that at a normal, natural, biological level. Now, a lot of men and women you come across nowadays, there are men that, are behaving more introverted, and then there are women that are behaving more extroverted. And that's because of the way the world is. There are a lot of beta males out there nowadays. They weren't raised to be strong, confident men. They're very weak, which forces women to be very strong and more dominant than submissive. And also, their careers that they do, if their careers require them to be more dominant than submissive, it flips the polarity to where there are more women that are exuding more masculine energy than feminine energy, and then there are men that are exuding more feminine energy than masculine energy. So, that's what that's what kind of flips things around. Let's continue here. Confidently enticing. Unlike the male who must go out into the world to find his destiny, the woman possesses her future within herself. To a woman, the most important thing is how she's feeling in the present moment, all the time, 24/7. That's all that matters. She has a hidden but deep confidence in this. Okay? Nothing more to add to that. Let's continue. Values intimacy above action. A woman cares more about being than doing. Listen to that again, guys. A woman cares more about being than doing because to a woman, what matters the most is how she feels. Doesn't matter how you feel or anyone else feels. It matters how she is feeling in the present moment 24/7. And she finds the reason for her being in a relationship. Okay. Nothing more to add there. Wisely selective, receptive. Though she values relationships above all else, a woman does not enter into them indiscriminately. She chooses slowly and receives wisely. Yeah. No, that's why when you're out in the dating world, men and women are talking to a lot of different women through these dating apps or even in the real world. Sometimes people are dating 2 or 3 people at once. I never did that because dating one woman at a time has always been enough for me. Plus, I feel like you can't really truly get to know someone unless you focus all your energy on them. But see, what I tell people to do is, pre-qualify, all your prospects. Like, let's say if you're a guy and 10 women are talking with you, right? You're a woman and you've got 100 men talking with you. Women get way more matches than men, right? You got to narrow it down to 1 or 2 guys, then down to 1 guy that the communication is great through messaging. Then when you get on the phone, he speaks very well. You speak very well. Your tones of voices mesh. You both sound intelligent, but also fun and playful. You got to get that feeling to the point of where this is a guy and a gal, or, this is for me, it would be a gal. For her, it would be a guy. This is someone that I feel could be a potential, partner in the future. So let's go on a date and see where it goes, right? That's the way I would suggest doing it. Seeks security because her orientation is inward towards inward relationships, nurturing and nesting. The female of the species puts a premium on safety and security. To a far greater extent than the male, she values qualities like dependability and trustworthiness in a potential mate. Well, let me tell you something. As a man, I'm a confident, strong alpha male. As a man, I look for the same things in a woman, especially in a modern world where women are saying we're equal to men. Okay, cool. I want to be able to depend on my woman and trust her too. And guess what? I can depend on her, and I do trust her in the same way she depends on me and trusts me. That right there needs to be a two-way street. Not just women. It's for men too. Got 11 in the box. Thank you so much for being here. Prefers modesty. A confident woman knows that she possesses something very precious and valuable, the power of her femininity, and she is driven by an innate desire to protect it. Modesty is fundamental to her nature. Okay. Yeah. Now, I can challenge that there are many women in this modern world, especially the younger women, that are not modest at all. They, are very attractive women, and they know their poo-poo doesn't stink. Let's put it that way. Or at least they think their poo-poo doesn't stink. But I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, everyone's shit stinks, including mine, including yours, whether you're a man or a woman. So I love this, that, most normal, decent, feminine women are going to be very modest. And that's what makes them feminine and attractive and sweet, and makes them appealing to good men like myself. That's how my woman is. That's why I love her. That's why I'm with her. That's why I put up with her shit, because she's a good woman. And she puts up with my shit too, because I'm a good man. Humbly speaking, that is. Caring. The female is more naturally inclined to respond to the distressed, the needy, or the hurting with immediate compassion and care. That's how most women are, if not all of them, right? But most men are not like that. I myself am very naturally inclined to respond to the distressed, the needy, or hurting with immediate compassion and care. Does that make me a feminized man? No, it makes me a man that's in touch with my emotions. And I'm emotionally strong, but I'm also caring and loving and sensitive. And I think what makes a good, well-balanced man is a strong and confident man, that, if necessary, he can stand up and get in your face, figuratively speaking, that is, to lay down the law. But in times of, someone in need or distress, or a death happens or something, he is very compassionate and cares at the same level the woman does. And that's the kind of guy I am. And many guys nowadays are not like that. And that's why women say you are all insensitive pigs, because in essence, you are insensitive pigs. I'm telling you that. Nothing wrong with being compassionate and caring about people and showing it. Doesn't make you any less of a man. I think if you're not that way, you're not a real man, in my opinion. A real man's going to be open to compassion and care when called for, when it's called for. Uses words. Give me a second here. Men talk to communicate information or ideas. Women talk to communicate feelings and thoughts. Let's repeat that one more time. Uses words. Men talk to communicate information or ideas. Women talk to communicate feelings and thoughts. You see what word always comes up when it comes to women? Feelings. Guys, if you can understand that to women, what matters the most is how she's feeling about you and everything else, and you can keep her feeling good, you're going to have more success with women and find the right lady and be in a successful and happy long-term relationship, possibly leading to marriage. As a result, women tend to use more words than men, unless you're me. I talk more than anyone. I can't shut the fuck up ever. But I love talking. I love it. This is what I was born to do. Oh, that's someone else's laugh. I can't do that. I actually like that guy's laugh. It's pretty funny. Anyway, he knows who he is. If you're listening, man, hello, sir. Desires equity and submission. A woman wants to be a man's equal, but an equal of a very special kind. Pay close attention to this. At a deep and fundamental level, she has a strong desire to be led, protected, and cared for. So this is what how do I say this the right way? This is what confuses a lot of men and women nowadays. Men and women are equal. From an equal rights standpoint, we technically have equal rights and equal opportunities. And now, are there still chauvinistic pigs in the workforce that abuse this? Sure. There's always going to be. And maybe some women abuse it too. But for the most part, women have equal rights and equal opportunities. And they're equal in those aspects with men. As far as relationships, we can't look at relationships as being equal. But we're also not saying that one is better than the other. In relationships, men and women are biologically different. Okay? Women are better than some things in a relationship than men are, and men are better at some things in a relationship than women are. And together, you make a great team. But no matter how strong and empowered women are nowadays, and even if they exude a lot of masculine energy at work, and even if they come home and they bring some of that home, this is what they truly want. This is what women are biologically hardwired to want from a man. They desire to be led, protected, and cared for. Led, protected, and cared for. Okay? It doesn't mean you own your woman. It doesn't mean a woman is your slave. It means you're a man and you take your lady out, you take care of her, and she'll take care of you too. Trust me, my lady takes care of me too. We take care of each other. But I'm the man, and I love just doing things for her because she's my lady. And my lady feels led, she feels protected, and she feels cared for. Another thing I do as a man is I say, hey, babe, let's do this on Saturday. What are your thoughts? Or do you have a better idea? I always give her the option, or do you have a better idea? And usually, most women that I've dated, where I come up with a great idea, I'll say, here's the plan. Or do you have a better idea? They'll say, oh, no, your idea sounds great, right? And every so often, if they want to throw something in and change it up a little bit, I'm totally cool with it because I really don't care where we go as long as we're together and we're happy. That's all that matters. All right, let me check out the chat here real quick. I think we are towards the end of the first part. Yeah, this is the final part here. Grim Grinning Ghost. Hello, Mr. Melas. Hello, Grim Grinning Ghost. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally says hello. And Grim Grinning Ghost says hi, RMP. Welcome to the show, everyone. All right, we are fancy like Applebee's on a date night. Hi, baby. Oh, baby, you want me to do some of that Walker Hayes stuff right now? My girl is banging. She's so low maintenance. Don't need no champagne. Popping entertainment. Take her to Wendy's. Can't keep her off me. She wanna dip me like them fries in her Frosty. But every now and then when I get paid, I gotta spoil my baby with an upgrade. Yeah, we fancy like Applebee's on a date night. Got the Bourbon Street steak with the Oreo shake. Got some whipped cream on the top too. 2 straws, 1 check. Girl, I got you. Baby, we're going to go to Applebee's this weekend. Baby, we're going to Applebee's. Yeah, you're welcome. My woman loves that song, that Walker Hayes song. No, that song, I'll say it real quick here. That song has really humbled me because my lady and I have lived in the Bay Area all our life. And, I'm beginning to learn more and more why people hate people from the Bay Area or California, because they think we're all prissy and spoiled. And we just, we spend more money and stuff and we do more fancy things. I love you too, babe. Yes, my baby says. But yeah, I'll honestly say this. Yeah, we're used to a certain lifestyle out here. Like when I first heard that song, I was like, Applebee's is not fancy, baby. That's like, we could drop by there after work and have a drink or something, right? It's like a 2-star meal, right? But to these people that are living a minimalist lifestyle and they're trying to survive, and they're in other parts of the country that it's a different demographic, let's put it that way. Applebee's to them is like a 5-star dinner to us. And yeah, my bubbly is crying out of laughter. Oh, you are, huh? You enjoy the show so far? I'm glad RJ brought you over here, man. Thank you so much for being here. But yeah, no, I'll tell you, it's humbled me. It's humbled me. And yeah, I can understand why some people don't like us San Francisco Bay Area folks. I get it. But this is just how we were born and raised. This is the environment that we've lived in, just like you folks back east and in the South and the Midwest. You're used to your certain way. So song really humbled me, baby. So thank you for putting that song in my head. Actually, like the last 2 days, yesterday and the day before, on Sunday, before my lady left to go back to her place for the week, I kept on singing that, and my babe was like, babe, you need to stop. You need to cut that out because, it's getting annoying and you're going to make me start to hate my favorite song. And I'm like, all right. And then she comes here in the chat and she's like, fancy, like, okay. Interesting side note. Let's get the last 2 parts here of the first block and then take our first break. Wields soft power which shapes humanity. Women have the ability to wield great and subtle influence in marriage and domestic relationships. Women are emotional beings. Women have the feminine touch. Women have, boobies and booty and the box on the front side. No disrespect, ladies. And us men, we like that. We want that. And, it's like, we get enamored by that. We do. We try to be strong, and we are strong. And you ladies know, when you have a strong man, but you also know that your boobies and your charm and your booty and, the punani and all that, you can shove that in our face and like, okay, you got us. You got us, baby. You got us. Connecting. The female is wired to connect with others on many different levels. That's because women love to talk. Women are great conversationalists. Women back in the days of traditionalism would have tea parties while the men would go to work. The women would, hang out at, one of the ladies', homes. They would take turns and have tea parties and talk about things, right? Women love to bond and connect. So women have always bonded and connected with other women, but it's just as important for women to bond and connect with their man at the same level. So guys, understand this. And that's why, like, I was raised this way. I have a great mother still, and before my father passed away about 13 years ago, I had a great father. And both of them, especially my mother on her end, taught me how to bond and connect with people emotionally and not be afraid to be emotionally open and emotionally aware, even as a man. And that is that. All right. Let's go back to full screen. Let's go back to full screen here. My lady says, chi-chis. If you didn't have a mod wrench, baby, I think that that word would have been held for review. But you've got a mod wrench, and you've also, got a couple of the things you mentioned there, baby. TITTIES. All right. Let's cue up some royalty-free YouTube music. Let's cue it up, baby. Let's cue it up. Where's the music I want here? Here it is. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to come back with one of my favorites. People that have been around for a while will know what I'm talking about. All right, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for a quick 8 or 9 minute break. And when I return, that is, I'm here by myself tonight. Used to having my lady here. When I return, we're going to go over to the ifstudies.org blog site, which is what I'm trying to say, the ifstudies.org blog site. And we're going to go over the blog, Young Men in Society. We will only get out what we put in. Young Men in Society, we will only get out what we put in. That's coming right up after the break. So stick around. Round. We'll be right And coming up, my most favorite song in the YouTube audio library. It is a song that I used to play at the beginning of a show I used to run on my former channel I was running many years ago called Coach Eli Live. So wait for it, and here we go! Eat the mix cells, double helix! Yeah! Energy up! Energy up! Get that energy up! Get fired up! I want you to go look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. 5 freaking times! Energy up! Feel it! Woo! I gotta wake up the neighborhood with that one. Woo! I want you to all feel good. Get all of that hate and negativity out of your blood because you are worth it and you are so much better than that. Now it's time to settle down, coach. Settle down, coach. You got a show to run, baby. Yeah, settle down, coach. Settle down, coach. You got a show to run. Inside joke there for those of you that know it. All right. Whew, man. All right. Let's get right back to it. I am so fired up tonight. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube, live on the newly monetized Coach Eli 2, uncensored. I keep screwing that up. Authentic live streams. It used to be called uncensored live streams, but now it's Coach Eli 2. Authentic live streams, and the channel is monetized. And if you would like to make a donation in any amount based on the value you feel you are receiving, you can do it in one of many ways. Now you can go to the bottom of the chat where you see that beautiful $ there and send a super chat or super sticker. Or if you would prefer to donate via Cash App or PayPal, Nightbot is sharing my PayPal and Cash App links in the chat every 7 minutes or so. On PayPal, it's paypal.me/Coach Eli. And on Cash App, it is $Coach Eli. And as always, donations are greatly appreciated, but they are not required. Before I continue, let me let Ethan Mixel bring us back to the second half of the show. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, you know, I'm no boring YouTuber. I am definitely not a boring YouTuber. So if you're looking for boredom, if you're looking for some ASMR stuff, now no disrespect to the ASMR community, but this is not ASMR by far, folks. Or if you are into boring, repetitive, you know, monotone sounding YouTubers, you're just not going to get that here. So please forgive me if I'm not your cup of tea. All right, folks, tonight, we've been discussing key differences between men and women. That's what we discussed during the first part of the show. If you missed the first part, go back and check out the replay. I did a blog called Key Differences Between Male and Female. It was very interesting and it was spot on in my opinion. And now during the second part of the show, the title is Plus, we only get what we give. We only get what we give. So let's get right back to it. Let's switch on over to the browser source. Where are we? Oh, there we are. Tam Ms. T says, great stream. Thank you so much. And bubbly, good energy. Thank you so much. I think I was born. I was born with that energy. Anyway, let's continue. Thank you, folks. I greatly appreciate your comments there. Let's see. This is from the website ifstudies.org, and the title is Young Men and Society. We will only get out what we put in. One more time, young men and society. We will only get out what we put in. This was written by Philip Zimbardo and Nikita Colombe, a man and a woman. This is very interesting. I was going to say should be very interesting, but I can tell you it will be very interesting because I've already gone over the material. Category: men, education. All right. Let me see if I can make this any bigger. Oh, that's way too big. All right, let's go back there. When our book Man Interrupted was published in 2016, concern over boys and men's issues, however legitimate, could not have been more unpopular. No kidding. This was about 1 year before I came out here on YouTube in 2017 to start my first real YouTube channel and my coaching business. I've had other YouTube channels in the past. I think my oldest YouTube channel was started in 2009. It's my Elias Melas YouTube channel. I used to upload videos from networking events I used to run back in the days when I would attend in-person business networking events to promote my insurance business. I used to be an insurance broker. So this was right around that time. And I'll tell you, in 2017 and 2018, before YouTube started taking a stronger stance on monetization and demonetizing many channels for hateful and abusive content and cyberbullying and harassment and creator-on-creator harassment, there were a lot of young men in their 20s and 30s and of all ages that were just coming out here on YouTube and just spewing their hatred. And the truth of the matter is, they were just projecting how much they hate themselves. So this is going to be interesting here, okay? And I would never want to go back to the days of 2017 and 2018 out here on YouTube. That was a bloodbath. Yeah, it was a literal bloodbath. Let's put it that way. It is a new world out there for everybody, yet amidst the shifting economic, social, and technological climates, boys are getting left behind. There are a record number of young men that are flaming out academically, wiping out socially with girls, and later failing in relationships with women. That is because society has started focusing more on women, and they are telling women to more so go to college, get a degree. I've said this before many times, but I have to keep saying it when, I go over articles like these. Women are being told to go to college and get a degree, and they're being told to be more career-focused than family-focused, right? And they tell these young ladies in their high school days to go to college, get a degree, get into your career, get settled into your career, and then you can, find the right man after that, right? But what happens? What's been happening to women? For a lot of women, depending on the career they're trying to get into, and then once they get into their career, they want to get settled, they want to get promoted, they want to buy a house, they want to be totally independent. They get there by the time they're in their, early 30s. Sometimes it takes until their mid-30s. And what happens when a woman enters her 30s? That's when the biological clock starts to go tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. And there's been this big thing on social media and out here on YouTube as well that I really wasn't too fond of initially, but actually I believe in it now. It makes a lot of sense. It's called SMV. It's called sexual market value. And it's nothing derogatory towards women, but because women have a biological clock and at some point will be physically unable to have kids, her value to a man that wants to have a family starts to tremendously decrease once she hits her early 30s. Now, women in their early 30s can still have healthy kids at least until they're 35, and in some cases, they're late to early 40s, right? But, most men, that are looking to settle down with someone and have a family, most men in their early 30s, even to mid-30s, and some men even in their early 40s, are going for women in their mid to late 20s because they're younger, they're more fertile, right? Etc., right? And this is something that society has not taught women, right? So these men are being confused. They're getting confused because they don't understand what's happening with women. because it used to not be this way. And especially, growing up in a traditional household like I grew up in, I didn't realize all of this until later on in life when I started researching it and started to realize why it's harder to connect with women nowadays, right? Because women now are balancing in having a job, and some of their jobs are stressful to the point of where they're so tired after work, they don't feel like doing anything, right? I came across many women and during the days when I was single, before I met my current woman, and in between relationships in the past, over the last 10 plus years, I came across many women. We would connect, we would talk, but then they would keep putting off meeting because they're saying, oh, work got busy. I'm tired after work. Now I'm going away on a business trip. Now I have this family thing, right? And whenever I would come across women like that, I would just stop talking with them because they just couldn't balance their work and their personal life. And that's something that I do here to help men and women. I help people balance their work and personal lives, whether you're a man or a woman, so you can enjoy all aspects of life, including your relationship or a relationship. So that's what's going on here. And that's why men are struggling with women, because no one's teaching them what they're going through mainstream, which is why I do what I do out here on YouTube, and many other people do this as well. Let's check out the chat here real quick. Rosie Wren, the queen of YouTube now and forever. Hey, how you doing, Rosie? Welcome to the show, girl. All right. Major symptoms that we see include a disenchantment with education, lack of motivation to work towards real-life goals, opting out of the workforce, self-imposed social isolation, and excessive video game and porn use, which we will discuss in a separate blog post. That's because these guys are not taught social skills. They come from a broken household. They didn't have a good father figure role model. Maybe the mother wore the pants in the relationship. So these guys are becoming more feminized than masculine, right? And they're confused when they get to the age of, liking girls and liking women. And then they start to, try to get dates with women, and women can pick this up a mile away. And they're like, what happened to men? These are not men. These are little boys. That's because they're not being raised to be men anymore. And that's the fault of the parents. Plain and simple. From our conversations with young men in our research, we determined that in our culture today, boy energy is at best not valued and at worst demonized. It's not about boy energy. It's about man energy. The problem is they have boy energy. They need to have man or manly energy. They need to be a man, not a little boy. In response, young men are deciding that it is not worth it for them to invest their time and energy back into society. Many are asking what is in it for them and only hearing crickets. Well, that's not a good way to look at it, because there are actually many good women out there. You just have to, sort out the ones that aren't as great and find one that is decent, right? That's going to resonate with you and you're going to resonate with her, right? And the same thing on the flip side for women. There are good men out there. You just have to, sort that out and qualify the right person. Okay. But yeah, a lot of men are being told, oh, it's, nowadays society is skewed more to favor women. The divorce laws favor women. No, they don't. Divorce laws favor the breadwinner, whoever makes more money. When you get married, everything's combined. It's joint, I know many women in the past that I was dating that were the breadwinners, and when they got divorced, it cost them. It's not about, men not being favored. It's about, who's the breadwinner, right? But when men are still breadwinners in 70% of the households, I can still kind of understand why men feel that way, okay? But if you take the time to get to know your partner and properly vet your partner when you meet them, and you only marry someone that you truly feel is the right person and they truly feel you're the right person, then it shouldn't be a problem, right? The reason why people get divorced is because they settle for each other, or maybe an unplanned pregnancy happens or unexpected pregnancy. Well, there's so many things you can do to prevent pregnancy nowadays. IUDs and semi-method semi-permanent methods of birth control, and people still don't take precaution, and that's what puts them in these situations. It's because people are lazy and they're not proactive. People have become more reactive than proactive, right? So let's continue here. On top of that, there is no longer a clear path to professional success and a huge lack of grown men willing and able to show younger men the path to manhood. Well, yeah, the role models have gone down the toilet. That's the problem. We don't have good masculine role models as much anymore. And that's why myself and some other strong, decent guys on social media, not here on YouTube, that's why we do what we do, to help these men. I also help women. But there are channels out here on YouTube that are completely catered to men. That's why we do this, because we understand this is happening. Let's see. Fatherlessness has risen over the last several decades, yet even boys that have fathers in their lives only spend a fraction of their time in one-on-one conversation with them versus the time they spend in front of a screen where they see men depicted as emotionless warriors, deadbeat dads, or losers. The reason why men are depicted that way is because many of you are showing up that way. If the majority of men were showing up, not fearing showing some emotion every now and then, not being deadbeat dads, and not being losers, then this wouldn't be said. This is the truth, right? This is the truth. Let's continue here. In other words, boys are going from female-dominated home environments to female-dominated school environments where less than 1 in 9 school teachers is a man. Back to female-dominated home environments where boys are being told to behave. These same environments demean boys and young men just for being male, but at the same time only reward them when they man up. Well, you should not be told to man up once you get to a certain age, but growing up, you have to, have a good, father figure and mother figure to teach you how to be a man so you can man up naturally when it's called for. But because, boys and the little boys nowadays don't have the right parenting, this is what happens. With such mixed messages, it is no wonder many boys and young men are struggling either in school or afterwards, failing to launch with emotional disturbances. I know of one particular YouTuber, even at the age of 37, is emotionally disturbed all the time. That's his problem. And interactions with the opposite sex or with drug use and gang activities. Give me a second to clear my throat here. Sorry about that. My apologies. It's a warm day today, and the allergens are kicking into overdrive. Yeah, that last paragraph, couldn't have said it myself. I've seen many men like that out here on social media, YouTube, and in the real world. And it all stems back to how they were raised. It's a lack of parenting, a lack of masculinity in their household. And many of these boys were raised by their mother. Even though the father may have been around, the mother wore the pants. And that just makes things very confusing. Society likes to blame young men, saying that it is their problem, when in fact it is society that is not providing the structure, guidance, means, or places for young men to develop themselves and thrive. That's because they're all completely focused on empowering women, which is not a bad thing. But we've done that. Women have been empowered. Women have equal rights and equal opportunities. So how about now we help men get to the level women are at? Because in my honest opinion, in the modern world, women have surpassed men. And this was never a competition of women surpassing men or men surpassing women. It was about equality between the sexes, right? And still being able to work together and balance things out as a team. But that's not the way it's become. It's become more of a competition. And it shouldn't be. That's not equal. If you're competing, it's not equal. Let's see. Failing schools. The U.S. spends more money per pupil than the majority of other developed countries. But it achieves less gain per buck. And now that many schools receive federal and state funding based on test results, teachers teach for those outcomes, but not for stimulating student curiosity or critical thinking, nor for learning non-specific principles or values. Yeah, I'll leave that alone. I have nothing to add to it. It's sad. It's very sad, but true. Since 1980, there has been a 71% increase in the number of boys who say they don't like school. And it's going to only keep rising if things don't change. One reason for this is because the average boy is not as socially and verbally mature as the average girl, yet is more physically active. Yeah, well, I remember going back to my grammar school days. Women were way more talkative than the guys. And I understand better now as I've gotten older. Women are emotional beings. They have to talk and express themselves constantly, or they get bored or lonely and they just feel sad, right? Women have to keep talking. Oh, God. Oh, man. And when you get into a relationship, that's all a woman that's really into you, all she wants to do is talk with you all the time. As a guy, you don't even get a day off. But for the woman that you love, it's totally worth it. Elementary school is now mostly language-based, and recess is almost extinct. So boys come to the conclusion that they aren't good at school and then don't try as hard. Boys also tend to learn best with hands-on learning activities, and schools don't offer enough opportunities to manipulate actual things. I've always learned things hands-on. I've always been better at learning things with hands-on training than sitting down and reading a book the size of a Bible, right? Furthermore, diaries and first-person narratives, writing styles preferred by girls are often favored over comic books, and science fiction themes favored by boys. Okay, I have nothing to add to that. It makes sense. I agree. What else is wrong with school dynamics? Too much boring homework and too many overworked or absent parents who are not interested in their kids' progress or academic problems, only the results on the report card. There's more to it than the report card. A lot more to it than the report card. It's the effort made, the desire to do it, right? Too many schools have eliminated gym class and structured playtime, which means there is no longer a time or place to release pent-up energy, socialize during free time, or develop imagination. Recess was a time to release the pent-up energy. You go out on the basketball court, soccer field, whatever, right? You go run around a little bit and you kick in those endorphins, release that pent-up energy, and then you go back to class and you're feeling great. But if they've taken away recess, wow, that's horrible. Financial constraints have also led to science courses without labs, dropping art classes altogether and limiting nearly all field trips to places like natural history museums. That sounds kind of boring to me. And as boys especially are less engaged and challenged in the classroom, there arises the ever-tempting option to text and surf the internet, something we will discuss in part 2. Well, what does this sound like? What is happening here? What does this sound like is happening? Think about it. I hate to say it, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to women, but they are catering school more so to women now. Schools are catering things more in feminine ways because I guess apparently more women are going to college than men. And it's going to be more valuable to do it this way than to do it the old way. That's just sad. That's my opinion. You let me know what you think. It should not be surprising then that for the first time in U.S. history, boys are getting less education than their fathers. Moreover, girls are outperforming boys at every level from elementary school through graduate school. In the U.S., by 8th grade, only 20% of boys are proficient in writing and 24% are proficient in reading versus 41% of girls are proficient in writing and 34% that are proficient in reading. Nationally, boys account for 70% of all the D's and F's given out at school. Yeah, see, I'm one of those dudes that, was fortunate to have great writing and speaking skills and reading skills, right? Which is why I feel I've never had a problem with women. I stand out. Like, whenever I've been single, and I hope I'm never single again, because I think I've found the woman of my dreams here, my life partner. I believe I have. But whenever I've been single, it hasn't been difficult for me to find women, to attract women, which is what I'm trying to say, because I have great speaking skills. I'm in touch with my emotions. I can spell properly. I'm proficient in grammar and spelling. And I know how to carry myself. Most men don't. And this is a big thing that women look for in a man. Yes, physical attraction is important. But if you're proficient in writing and reading, women will look at that and say, wow, this dude's not only cute and hot, but he's smart. Wow, I got to lock this guy down. That's why I think, humbly speaking, that's why I think my woman locked me down. Wow. 70% of all the D's and F's given out at school are from boys or men. Wow. Wow. That's staggering. That is really, really staggering. Similar achievement gaps between the genders have been documented worldwide. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, found that boys are more likely to repeat school years than girls, had poorer grades, and got higher pass rates on school leaving examinations. In some countries like Sweden, Italy, and Poland, girls scored so much higher than boys on reading in the PISA assessment, a global measure of skills and knowledge, that they were essentially a year to year and a half ahead in school. Wow. Whew. That says a lot. That says a lot regarding the behavior of the millennials and some of the post-millennials, but primarily the millennials have struggled with this the most. Wow. It's very sad. Very sad. Christina Hoff Summers, a resident scholar at the American Enterprise Institute for Public Policy Research, listed even more imbalances in her book, The War Against Boys. Girls outnumber boys in student government, honor societies, and school newspapers. They also do more homework, take more honor courses, read more books, eclipse the males on tests of artistic and musical ability, and generally outshine boys on almost every measure of classroom success. At the same time, fewer girls are suspended from school, fewer are held back. In the technical language of education experts, girls are more academically engaged. Guys, you're getting your ass kicked by girls. And you deserve it, because you guys have given up on yourselves. It's sad. I've known this for a while, but to see it written out clearly here really saddens me. It really saddens me. 2/3 of students in special education remedial programs are boys. It is not a question of IQ. They are just not putting in the effort because they're lazy millennials. Lazy. And post-millennials too, but primarily the laziest generation of men, the millennials. Never seen any other group of men like it. Hands down. Lazy. And it translates into a lack of career options. Yeah, they're left with coming out here on YouTube and creating fake instigated drama. And it translates into a lack of career options. These gaps are much greater for males from minority backgrounds. With such mixed messages, it is no wonder many boys and young men are struggling either in school or afterwards, failing to launch with emotional disturbances in interactions with the opposite sex or with drug use and gang activities. They're just repeating, they're highlighting a part that they mentioned above. Let's see how much more we have. I may take another break here before I finish up here. No, I'm good. I'm not gonna take another break. I'm gonna keep going. We're almost done. Between 1999 and 2019, the percentage of 16 to 24-year-old males participating in the workforce fell 17%, and that number is projected to decrease even more over the next 10 years. Other countries like Italy, France, Spain, Sweden, and Japan have all seen more than a 5-fold increase in young men not employed. Wow! Does this surprise you folks at all? Seriously. It doesn't surprise me one bit. Wow. The OECD records show that the average unemployment rate for men in their late 20s and early 30s jumped from 2% in 1970 to 9% in 2012. It's probably 20 to 25% in 2022. That is an enormous increase and means millions of young men are not working. Wow. Whew. I mean, that speaks for itself. What more can I add to that? What more can I add to that? I agree. Completely, wholeheartedly agree. Zoomers equals Zoomers millennials. Zoomers through millennials. Do you care to elaborate more on that, bubbly? Feel free to share your thoughts, man. I'm open to it, man. I want to know your thoughts on how you feel, and put it in there as soon as possible, because we're going to be wrapping things up in the next 10 to 15 minutes here. We are at 1 hour and 24 minutes. I'm glad you're still here, bro, and you're enjoying the show. And thank RJ for inviting you over here. I appreciate that. Give me a second here, folks. Much better. The growing interconnectedness of the world's economies means that modern boom and bust cycles have further and deeper reaching consequences for all nations. The global recession of 2009 was the worst recession since World War II. And you know what, folks? People thought we were going to head into a recession right now. And we're not. It was worse in 08 and 09. And gas prices are starting to go back down again. Pretty soon, by the end of summer, they will get back down to $5 a gallon or below $5 a gallon here in California and the Bay Area. I think back east now in some areas, they're below $5 a gallon again, which is great. And those of you out there that don't think Biden had something to do with this by releasing 1 million barrels of crude oil from our emergency reserves, I thought it was not going to make a difference, but it did. It made a difference. It turned things around. Gas prices started going back the other way. Many people thought they would reach $10 a gallon, even though probably in some areas in Timbuktu they did, but most areas never got past $6 a gallon, or they got close to $7 a gallon, but not quite. Some areas in Southern California and other parts of the country, got to $8, $9 a gallon, but most never even reached $7 a gallon. Now we're back to reality. We're getting back down. But yeah, let's see. So the global recession of 2009 was the worst recession since World War II, causing unemployment to skyrocket on a personal level. Job losses hit men harder than women. In the U.S., men's unemployment rate doubled between January of 2008 and June of 2009. Healthcare, a major female-dominated industry. Lots of nurses. Now, there are some male nurses, I know them, but they're primarily females. Has been relatively insulated, while industries such as manufacturing and construction, where most employers are men, accounted for about half of the 6.5 million jobs lost since the recession started in 2007. General unemployment gradually decreased for both men and women in recent years, and then took a huge hit again this past year from COVID, creating greater uncertainty for many industries. Well, we're beyond the COVID thing. I think this was written about a year or so ago. Let me see if there's a date. Where was the date of this? What was the date of this article here? January 14th, 2021. So about a year and a half ago. Yeah, we're in a different, what a difference a year and a half makes, I'll tell you that. What can be done? There is no question that the current education system is broken. Well, our education system has been broken and the worst in the entire world for decades. So this is nothing new. Why haven't we done something to fix this? I don't know. A lack of focus. We spend more time fighting over left versus right, Democrat versus Republican, than getting things done and working as a team. Forget the political parties. Toss them out and work as a team to get shit done. Like fix our broken education system that's been broken for the longest time. And we are the worst nation in education. The U.S. is one of the best nations in everything except education. We are at the bottom of the list. Bottom of the list. Pathetic. Pathetic for a nation like ours to be the least educated, the dumbest nation on the planet. The Pathway to Prosperity project warns that a failure to reform the system will surely erode the fabric of our society. Economic inequality is increasing. If the young people of today are not better prepared to handle the challenges of the future, their animosity over their limited opportunities will only increase as their social status plummets with the high cost of living. Well, or high costs of living. I mean, if you're out here in the Bay Area and let's say you just move out here, you got a job in the tech field, even if you're making 150, 200 grand a year, you can't afford to buy a house. You can't. You just can't. It's insane. And the cost of living is going up everywhere. Inflation is greatly surpassing, our incomes, our salaries. Wow. This has been exhausting, but exhausting in a good way. This has been very, very eye-opening. The expense that they impose on society will also increase. And worst of all, many of their possible contributions to society will go unrealized. Nothing more to add to that. It speaks for itself. It's just really sad. This is sad. This is sad. And I think we have our government to blame for this. They spend more time fighting amongst each other. I'm Democrat and I'm right. I'm Republican and I'm right. It's stupid. It is stupid. It's like children fighting, at the Capitol. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. When we ask students what class they would like at their school that didn't already exist, nearly a third of them independently suggested a life skills class that included guidance on personal finance, how to apply for jobs, and dealing with adult responsibilities and life changes such as the death of a relative. That's where a life coach comes into play. That's why we do what we do. Because this should be offered to kids in high school and in college. In essence, they should be offered a life coach or life teaching class. But they're not. That's why I do what I do. I didn't even have these resources, growing up, right? Luckily, I had two great parents that taught me all of this. But nowadays, kids aren't as fortunate to be raised the same. Even if they have both parents, they're both working to be able to afford to keep a roof over their head and food in their mouths, right? Whew, wow. Several students said they were embarrassed that they didn't even know how to make a simple budget or keep track of money in their bank accounts. That's pathetic. You know why? Because you guys were born with a digital device. You know what I had? I had a checkbook. I had a checkbook and a calculator, which this is a keypad. My new laptop doesn't have a 10 key, so I had to buy a wireless keypad. But this could be like a calculator, right? Let me move over here. I had a checkbook and a calculator, and you would write in the checkbook how much the check was you wrote, right? We would balance our stuff. Nowadays, it's all electronic. It's debit or ACH. It's done online. That's what's happened. The digital world has made things easier in some aspects, but it's made things worse in others. And if you didn't learn the skills of doing things manually, like I did before the digital world took over, the digital world's what's hurting you, in my opinion. One student even remarked, the lack of this class may be one of the reasons preventing young people from moving out of their parents' home. Bingo, big round of applause. You hit the nail on the head. Wow. Shocking, huh? Shocking. Wow. Recess also needs to make a comeback. 30 years ago, elementary schools offered recess twice a day. Many schools now have recess only once a day, and some schools are eliminating play or free time altogether. Why? Because they don't want to keep the teachers around, longer and pay them less. So all that restless energy that young boys have now has nowhere to be released except in the classroom. And yeah, men need to get out there and release the tension and kicking those endorphins to make it through the day. Yeah, you can't keep men locked up in a cage for 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours without recess and lunch. 2 recesses and a lunch or something like that. Get your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. We'll be going off the air in about 5 minutes or so. Finally, we need more incentives for men to fill K through 12 teaching positions, kindergarten through 12th grade. That's high school, senior year. Another alternative is offering gender-specific, not gender-blind class options and assignments. Boys don't want to read the same books girls do, nor do they learn the same way girls do. Amen. These are 2 well-written blogs tonight. Very well written. Girls can also benefit from single-sex classes. In fact, one randomized study found that girls who took a single-sex physics class were less likely than girls from the co-ed class to think physics is for boys. The National Association for Choice in Education, NACE, schoolchoice.org, is an excellent resource for information on single-sex schooling. Another great program to check out is Project Lead the Way, PLTW, a nonprofit organization that works with schools from the primary through high school level, engaging teachers in professional development that leads to project-based learning, where students acquire relevant knowledge and skills in science and technology fields. That's a big run-on sentence that help them succeed in future careers. That is the longest run-on sentence I've ever seen. This is an entire sentence here, folks. This is a run-on sentence. I'm the grammar Nazi. But I agree. It was long. A long run-on sentence, but I agree. Wow. And that's going to do it. Wow. Let's go back to full screen. We are at 1 hour and 36 minutes. Not bad. Great timing on this show. Less than 2 hours. We got through the material. And now it's short enough for people to enjoy the replay. All right, folks, I have nothing more to add. I'm going to go and relax a bit. My lady and I are going to be talking by phone later tonight. She's at darts. She'll be at darts for another hour or an hour and a half or so. So I'm going to go rest. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Please like, share, subscribe, bang the bell, select the notifications, so that way you won't miss anything here on this channel if you haven't already subscribed. Also, please subscribe to my main channel, Coach Eli, Elias Melas. Nightbot's been sharing the link in the chat every 7 minutes, or just go to youtube.com/Life Coach Eli. Starting next week, I will be creating more high-quality pre-recorded content there in 4K at 60 frames per second, more bite-sized content, maybe 15 to 30-minute length, clips with certain topics. We're also going to be doing some more YouTube shorts regularly. Those are those 1 minute or less TikTok style videos, and more so focusing on some members-only content on my main channel. Now, this channel here that just got monetized yesterday, okay? It got monetized yesterday, August 1st, 2022, in case you're coming down or across this video down the road as a replay, this live stream as a replay. Channel memberships will be available here within a week or so. We'll begin them activated here by next week. And then we're also getting a shopping tab. Merchandise is coming as well. Lots more is coming. Keep it locked here between both channels and keep it on the community tabs and you won't miss anything. Bubbly. Thanks, Coach Eli. Great stream. Well, thank you so much for being here. Feel free to come back anytime. Thank RJ Sandifer for sending you here. And please have RJ reach out to me. I miss talking with him. I hope he's ready to move away from drama because I really enjoy his company and I enjoy talking with him and his wisdom. All right, with that being said, have yourselves a great night. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.